Hi everyone, it's Taylor. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I will be sharing my 2022 goals, and I will also be talking a little bit about the two systems that I plan on using to track my progress throughout the year. So if you're unfamiliar with these two planners, this one over here is the Cultivate What Matters Power Sheets Goal Planner created by Laura Casey. And this is the Moxie Life Goal Setting System created by Sierra Friend. I originally discovered the Power Sheets and it completely changed the game for me when it came to setting goals and kind of understanding the deeper meaning behind my goals and figuring out what's truly important for me. And then when I discovered this planner, that is when I discovered what it looks like to actually put them into your planner every single week and actively work on them. So this was the planner that helped me kind of figure out how to set goals. And then this was the planner that helped me figure out how to implement them. And now I love continuing to use both planners for different reasons, which I will share with you here in a little bit. But what I won't be doing is going over these planners in depth. If you are curious as to what these planners look like and all the different things that they entail, then I would just suggest doing a quick YouTube search and finding a review for either planner because there are tons of them out there. And I also really suggest watching different people's goal setting videos that they share their process in these planners, because the amazing thing about both of these planners is that they offer you structure, but they also still allow you the freedom to create goals and work on your goals in a way that works best for you. And so how people use these planners might look different from person to person. So let's just jump right in. I'm going to set my power sheets to the side because all of my main goals are set up in this planner, and then I'll bring this one back and kind of talk about how I use it. So before we talk about my actual goals for the year, I wanted to start by taking a look at this Life Compass assessment, which was created by Sierra Friend. And this is essentially an assessment that allows you to score yourself in each of the 8 categories of life that she has created to sort of help give your goals a focus and a sense of balance to make sure that every area of your life is being taken care of. And that is truly what made me fall in love with this planner, because it really helped me hone in and focus on all aspects of my life and not get too caught up in just one. So essentially the idea is that she gives you different statements about your life in each category, and you rate yourself based on how true you feel like that statement is. And then you add up your scores and you find your average, and you come over to the compass and figure out what your score is in each area. And so as you can see, some of my lower scoring areas were fun and recreation, financial, and health and wellness. And that honestly does not surprise me because especially these two categories, I did not hardly focus on at all last year. So this gives me a great idea of, okay, these are the areas that I need to kind of put a little more energy into, whereas some of these higher scoring ones, I just want to continue to maintain, but maybe not put so much time and energy into. So we're not going to get into that too much, but I just thought that would be helpful for you to kind of see where I'm at and where my focuses are going to be. Then moving on, the one other thing I want to share with you is this intentions page. I love that Sierra put this in the planner. And again, I did a lot of prep work in the power sheets, and that work really helped me with setting these intentions as well. And I'm not going to go through everything, but the big thing I wanted to share was my word of the year, and that is embrace. The reason I chose the word embrace was really several reasons. For me, this word really just encompassed the attitude that I want to have going into the new year. I want to be better about just accepting whatever comes my way and being more flexible and being able to go with the flow, because I tend to get really caught up in perfectionism. I really get knocked down by the smallest of obstacles, and sometimes it's really easy to let those little things affect everything else in my life. And so something I just really want to try to do is embrace what's in front of me, take it as it is and learn to just go with it. Also, I feel like it's a great reminder as I'm working on my goals throughout the year to, again, just embrace where I'm at and be willing to adjust where needed and not get so caught up in the shoulds and the ideas that I have for myself. So, what this word means to me is to accept willingly what is out of my control and embrace opportunity for growth and progress. All right, so enough talk about intentions. Let's head over to my annual goals. All right, so let's start with the personal category. I have 4 different goals here, and the focus I put here is fulfillment because something I feel like I have been lacking lately is that feeling like I am where I should be. And so that's kind of the idea that I'm thinking about as I set these goals. So the first goal I put is to incorporate a monthly routine of memory keeping, journaling, and gratitude. I tried to do memory keeping last year and I did not keep up with it, but this year I am determined because I just really want a way to remember the small things and continue to be grateful. And I just think memory keeping is a really, really cool way to look back at your life. I love doing that with my planners. And so that's just something I really, really want to try to do this year. My second goal is to affirm and challenge myself through active goal setting and personal development. Yes, I put setting goals in my goals. So that basically will entail keeping up with my goals in this planner every single month, and making sure I'm doing my reflections and I'm, rechecking in and resetting my goals each quarter. And then I also have some different programs like Club Moxie, which I did not finish last year. And so I'm not going to be paying for the new Club Moxie this year, but I will be going back and finishing all of the work that was available to me from Club Moxie last year. And so just things like that, just focusing on reading books, doing things that serve me in my own personal development. My third goal is to use scheduled alone time to practice self-care. The key word here is scheduled. I talk about this with my therapist all the time. She tells me that I need to start actually putting in my calendar my plans for self-care because I always let self-care take the back burner when other things pop up, and I need to treat it as something that is a part of my schedule, that is non-negotiable. And so that's just something huge that I really, really want to put into practice this year. The fourth goal I have is to use social media more intentionally and schedule frequent breaks. I really felt like this goal was important because it's so easy, right, to feel like you're wasting time on social media just scrolling. And I also, at the same time, am not really good at updating my social media frequently or consistently. And so this goal is really just focused on how can I be consistent with my social media while also taking steps back and not getting so caught up and spending all of my time there. All right, so then let's move on to the fun and recreation category. My focus for fun and recreation is joy, and I'm pretty sure that's the same focus I wrote last year. I just want to continue to cultivate joy in my life by doing the things that I love the most, which is why my first goal here is to invest more time and energy into my hobbies every week. I have tons of hobbies. I do planning. I play board games with my boyfriend. We like to go rock climbing. I love to read. Like, there are so many hobbies I just want to make sure I am intentionally putting into my schedule every week and making time for. My second goal is to read 50 books. So this is the first actual specific numbers goal. Last year, my goal was to read 24 books and I made it to 23. Although I did finish my last book in January, so I guess I can kind of count that. But yeah, so I figured if I could read 24 books last year, and I did most of that reading in the last 6 months of the year, then I could for sure complete 50 books this year. And I'm so excited for this goal because I've never read that many books in 1 year, and I feel like I can do it. So super excited about that one. My third fun goal is to try new things with YouTube. I still consider YouTube a hobby and something that is fun. It is not something I ever intend on quitting my job to do. So it's something that I try not to take too seriously, but that I also want to continue to try new things with and have fun with. And so for this goal, I'm mostly thinking trying new types of content, new video ideas, and maybe even changing up like my editing style or just, focusing on keeping my YouTube channel fresh and just switching things up a little bit. And then my fourth goal here is to plan a vacation to at least one place I've never been. This does not have to be a big, elaborate vacation, but I am a teacher. I get the summers off, well, for the most part, and I really want to take advantage of the summer and try to schedule a vacation to somewhere I've never been before, because I definitely need more travel in my life, and there's so many places I want to see. So that one is definitely on my list for this year. Okay, let's move on to work and learning. My focus here is just to initiate progress. There are so many things I want to make progress on at work, and I think I just need to get started on some of it. There are so many things that have been on my to-do list for so long that I just need that little push to just start. So the first goal I have here is to get organized in my classroom and establish systems that reduce clutter and stress. Right now, there are so many things at work that I need to kind of put into place. I'm in my third year of teaching, and I still don't have an emergency sub-tub. I don't really have a filing system. I don't really have my computer super organized. I also have cabinets full of instruments and manipulatives and music that's just not organized, books, like so many things that just need to get organized in my classroom that will save me time in the long run when it comes to lesson planning. So that is just a huge focus for me this year, specifically at work. I just have lots of projects, and I'll probably take that goal quarterly. Like this quarter, I'll work on my sub-tub. This quarter, I'm going to work on my filing system, that sort of thing. All right, then my second goal here is to take music education workshops and courses to continue growth as an educator. I already plan on getting my Kodály Level 2 certification this summer. Kodály is like a music teaching pedagogy class that I started, like I said, last summer. And so there are 3 levels, and I really want to take my second level. And then there's also a guitar and ukulele course coming up at my local music store, and I did just get a grant for classroom ukuleles, and so I would really, really love to take that class just to learn how to teach ukulele. I feel pretty confident in my ukulele skills, but again, I feel like that's something that I would just really, really benefit from. So things like that, just continuing to better myself as an educator. And then the third goal here is not work related. This is more on the learning side of this category, and that is to learn a new skill outside of my expertise. And I want to be more specific about this, but I haven't decided for sure. I kind of want to look into learning American Sign Language. That's always been on my list. I don't know if I will have time to squeeze in like an ASL course this year, but that's something I kind of want to get started on. I also would love to take some like calligraphy courses or learning some hand lettering, which is really easy to do like here on YouTube. I also would really love to learn Photoshop. So there are several different skills that I would love to learn this year. And so once I decide which, I'm going to choose one, and once I decide which one I'm going to focus on, then that's going to kind of be my focus for that goal this year. All right, we are going to move on to family and relationships. My focus here is intention, because as you will see with all of these goals, it's all about being intentional and planning ahead. So the first goal here was kind of a goal I had last year, but I carried it over into this year again, and that is to proactively plan for birthdays and celebrations each month. So the reason behind this goal is because I am just always last minute Lucy when it comes to ordering gifts or sending birthday cards. And last year I sort of developed a system that helped me out a little bit, but throughout the year I wasn't super consistent with it. So I just put this back in my goals this year because I really want to continue to be better about showing the people I love that I care and remembering to order their gifts, at least 2 weeks in advance, and making sure I am checking Facebook each month to see who I need to send a message to on their birthdays and that sort of thing. So that's just really important to me, and I want to continue to work on that. My second goal is to intentionally cultivate more love and appreciation in my relationship. I've been with my boyfriend for 4 years now, and so this goal is just going to look like finding new ways each month, each quarter, to kind of switch things up and show my boyfriend that I love him. Like this last month, I decided I was going to start leaving him love notes randomly throughout the week, or, in his sock drawer or whatever, just to make him smile. And those are the kinds of things I want to continue to implement this year. And of course, I want to carry over going on a date once a month. We did that last year, and that's going to be kind of tied into this goal as well. My third goal in this category is to establish family routines and expectations in our household that encourage growth and connection. I am living with my boyfriend and his daughter, and the idea behind this goal is to just really start implementing those routines and household expectations. Like something we really want to start doing is having family dinner at the table every night instead of, sitting out on the couch and watching TV. We want to actually spend more quality time. We want to start, limiting our screen time, scheduling time on the weekends to go outside or go spend time together. Just really figuring out what we want our routines and expectations to look like as a family. And then the last goal in this category is to host friends or family once a month. I can probably count on one hand how many times we had people over at our house last year. Granted, we moved into this house in July, so we've only lived here for 6 months, but now we're kind of settled in and we want to start hosting, game nights with our friends or dinner nights for our parents, having our nieces over to come hang out, just different things like that so that we can start sharing our home with others and just spend more time with family. All right, let's flip the page over to the health and wellness category. Now, this is the category I always really struggle writing goals for, and I'm surprised I have 5 goals here. This is the category that I can definitely see myself changing throughout the year, but we'll see. So my focus here is to energize myself, whether that's mentally, physically. I just feel like I am always exhausted, and I really, really want to work on just energizing my body and my mind. So the first and most important goal, if I could have one focus goal in each category, this would be my focus goal, and that is to maintain a weekly exercise schedule. Before COVID happened, I was exercising pretty often. I was doing hot yoga 3 to 4 times a week. Chris and I were going rock climbing a couple times a week. And I was just really good about moving my body. And when COVID hit, all that went out the window. So that is just a huge, huge focus, is to just start working on an exercise schedule, starting small and then building on it throughout the year so that by the end of the year, I have a very consistent schedule that I am moving and exercising every week. So that is going to be a huge, huge focus for me. The second goal here is more related to getting more sleep and rest, which in turn will energize my body and my mind. And that is to find an evening wind down routine that helps me get to bed by 10 p.m. Now, this is one of those goals where, like, in the summer, I'm not really going to be trying to go to bed by 10. It's probably going to look more like 11 o'clock. But I just struggle getting to bed on time so much. And I know a huge part of that is because I try to squeeze all the things into like the last 2 hours before bed, and then I just end up being up really late. So that is also going to be a really big focus for me, is figuring out how I can get all the things done that I want to get done every week on the weeknights, but figuring out a schedule for it. I really plan on using the Routinery app. Lakin over at Plan with Lakin shared that app a couple of years ago, and that's something I have used in the past that I want to re-implement into my evening routine. Okay, moving on. The third goal here is to plan well-balanced meals every week and eat healthier alternatives. So kind of what I want for this goal is to just actually make sure that I am meal planning every week. And the healthier alternatives idea really falls into lunch. I tend to eat out a lot because I'm really bad about planning my lunches out, and so I'll show up to school without anything. I also am really bad about taking things like ramen noodles and things that are really bad for me to work for lunch. And so this is just more about having a plan. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not, maintaining a specific diet. I just want to be more intentional about my meals every week. The fourth goal in this category is to engage in mind-clearing activities that promote calmness and peace. And this was one of my super, super vague goals that I worded and reworded like 100 times, and I just couldn't figure out how to get across what I want for this goal. But basically, I just want to find ways to sort of calm my anxiety and allow myself to sort of clear my head, because I just always have so much going on. I'm sure being a teacher has a lot to do with that. Like, I come home and there's just a million things on my mind, and I just want to find a way to practice clearing my mind, whether that's through meditation, going on frequent walks, carving out time to just listen to music and wind down. It could look like a lot of things, but I think the way I'm going to track this goal is just by making sure, like in my daily habits, that I'm incorporating some sort of mind-clearing activity. So I don't know if that really makes sense, but again, these are my goals, and so I'm the only one it really has to make sense to. And then the last health and wellness goal is to try a new recipe every month. I absolutely hate cooking, and so one of the main reasons I don't eat that well is because I just like to cook what's easy, which oftentimes includes boxed dinners, and those just obviously are not that healthy for you. So I'm gonna really, really work on cooking this year, and I'm gonna try out a new recipe every month. And if I like it, I'm gonna try to put it down in my recipe book. Okay, let's move on from health and wellness down into the spiritual and personal growth category. My focus here is spiritual knowledge. I really felt like last year I focused on just getting involved in my spirituality. I started going to church again. I even started singing at church. But now I kind of want to focus on what my faith means to me and just growing in my understanding of the values that I claim to believe in. So the first goal here is to grow in spiritual knowledge by completing daily scripture readings. And I'm going to be doing this by following a women's Bible study. It's a 52 weeks Bible study. And actually, let me grab it. I'll show you guys real quick. This is what it looks like. I am so excited. I will be sure to link this down below in case you're interested, but I found this on Amazon, and it's just a year-long Bible study for women, and I love it because it's not the entire Bible, but she does have a lot of the important bits of it, and she gives you a daily reading, and it's usually about a 15-minute long reading, and then she gives you some reflection questions that you don't have to do, but that you can do each week. And it's just a really, really easy, awesome way for me to start digging into scripture and just building up my general knowledge of my own faith. So that's a goal I'm actually really excited about and have already started incorporating into my evening routine. And then the second goal here is to seek out opportunities for active service and fellowship. And this is one of those goals that's more about kind of living out my faith, right? Getting more involved in my church by joining connect groups, having one-on-one Bible studies with friends, just little ways that I can be more active in my faith. All right, moving on to the financial category. This is like top priority this year. I need to get my finances together. So my focus here is financial security. I am just not in a place right now where I feel like I have a long-term plan. I'm pretty much living paycheck to paycheck, and you guys know I'm a teacher, and I'm definitely not like floundering by any means, but it would be nice to start building something that's a little more sustainable long-term. So my number one goal here is to build savings and start contributing to retirement. So I'm going to start off with a $5,000 emergency fund. Really, I would like it to be somewhere between $5,000 to $10,000, but I didn't want to put it at 10 because I felt like that was a really, really big stretch. So we're going to start with 5, and I would love to go over that. But yeah, I just really need that emergency money that I do not spend, because I feel like every time I try to work on my emergency fund, some large payment comes up that was either expected or unexpected, and I throw all of that money at it, and then I'm starting all over again. So that's just going to be a huge, huge focus for me. So I put $5,000 emergency fund, and then I left it blank for how much I want to contribute monthly to my retirement because there are a few things I kind of need to figure out. Looking at my budget, looking at my other expenses, I might have to start paying student loans this year. So there are a few things I have to take into consideration, but once I figure that out, I will add the number here, and then hopefully before the end of this year, I will have started to contribute to my retirement. The second goal I have is to seek out means for extra income. Like I said, I'm pretty much living paycheck to paycheck, and I feel like the only way I can dig myself out of this is if I find a way to make some extra money on the side. So I will probably look into teaching summer school. I'll probably look for more opportunities to sing for church camp over the summer. I did 1 week of that last year, and that helped me out a little bit. I don't know, just gonna have to look for different ways that I can try to make a little bit of extra money. And then my third goal is to practice intentional spending by consulting the budget regularly. And then I kind of added here track spending and then monthly budget meetings with Chris, since we do live together, just being out in the open about what our finances look like and what we can do to help each other out and continue to save money, because eventually we would love to get married and also buy a house. So this is just going to be probably the biggest struggle for me, but I have to put more time and energy into this goal and figuring out what I can do to cut back. Okay, moving on to the last category, which is physical environment. And my focus here is just maintenance, maintaining a nice, clean household. So my first goal here is to use what I have in order to reduce clutter and excess. This again was a carryover from last year, but I really didn't focus on that hardly at all. So we put it back in our planner. I just have lots of stuff. Like I have a lot of skincare. I have a lot of stickers and planners and paper and pens and, all the things. I have like a million candles. There are just a lot of things that I need to start using before I start buying more. So you'll see even in my planning videos this year, I'm going to be trying to use kits that I already own, functional stickers I already own, just to kind of start cutting back on some of that clutter and not having so much stuff. My second goal is to establish and maintain cleaning routines. Now that Chris and I have been settled in this house and we are working together to keep it nice, we need to sit down and just figure out how are we gonna maintain our cleaning schedule, who's gonna do what, when, that sort of thing. The third goal I have is to make my home a place of comfort and coziness. And this goal is just kind of focused on continuing to do what I can to just make my home that I'm currently in a place of relaxation and comfort, and not a place that I come home to and feel stressed out by. So that might look like, buying new throw pillows or creating more comfy spaces in my house, like whatever. I just want to feel like this is my safe haven. And then the very last goal I just recently added last minute, and that is to implement monthly Goodwill drop-offs. Chris and I are always pulling things out that we're like, oh, that needs to go to Goodwill. And then we make piles of stuff and then it just sits there in our garage for weeks or months. So we are going to be as intentional as we can about cleaning out closets, cleaning out crap that we've gained over the course of the month that we've decided we don't need, and actually taking it to Goodwill and dropping it off and getting rid of it. So those are all of my goals for 2022. I'm going to be breaking these goals down into monthly goals, and so I will be hopefully filming each month how I'm breaking down these goals and working on them. So real quick before I go, I wanted to share with you how I plan on breaking these goals down using my Power Sheets planner. So in the Power Sheets planner, there is this beautiful page called the Tending List. And this was what made me fall in love with the Power Sheets, because while I love the setup of the Moxie Life and being given these 8 categories, when it comes to breaking down these goals, I love this planner. It allows for you to break your goals down into monthly, weekly, and daily actions and track your progress throughout the month really, really easily. So what I'll do each month is so let's flip open to February. I will go into my Moxie Life planner and I will kind of break down my yearly goals into monthly goals, and then I will transfer them to my tending list and look at each category and figure out how I can break them down into monthly, weekly, and daily actions. And then I implement each week in my planning. I write out my weekly actions that I want to take, and I implement them into my weekly planning. But then I come to this planner to actually track that progress and give myself the check mark or fill in the little bar. And it is just the most satisfying thing. It makes it so easy to see visually the progress that you are making. And I just absolutely love this process. So that is just kind of a brief overview of how I will be using both of these planners to track my goal progress throughout the year. And I don't remember if I mentioned this, but I am filming this at the end of January. I do not start my goals in January. I take the entire month of January to continue to write them and rewrite them until they feel right to me. And then I really get started on my goals in February. So if you guys want to check out my progress on my goals, keep an eye out for my February goals video. That will be the first time that you see me break them down into monthly goals, and you'll be able to see how I kind of set up my tending list for the month. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!